Hey, Brett, good to see you.
Nice to see you, Tom. How diddly doodly.
Welcome to our show,
Howdy, howdy.
Therapy Unzipped. No, I do not want to start my AI companion. I don't even know what that does in Zoom, but wow, AI is definitely a thing, man. It's taking over.
Yeah. It's just like anything else. It is a tool for sure.
Yeah,
Lots of people are concerned. In 2025, not even the end of the year yet, and we have lost over 1 million jobs in the United States.
yeah.
A lot of it some of it due to AI. I don't know how much. Some of it due to AI, but a lot of it due to just corporate restructuring, increasing profits, right? Bottom line kinds of things.
Yeah. I mean, are you gonna hire 100 guys to dig a ditch with spoons? Or are you gonna use, 10 guys with shovels or 2 guys with an excavator? I
All
mean,
right.
like,
Exactly.
what's the priority? Is it about efficiency and, lowering costs or, I don't know.
Mhm.
Not to be an economist here. But
But AI, you got to keep it in perspective. It's a tool. Remember when we started with computers and people said, oh, it's going to take over the world,
right.
computers. And then we had cell phones. And,
Yeah.
remember my favorite one was, remember the guy that owned the horse whip guy that made all the horse whips when they were horses and carriages?
Yeah.
And that guy was on, he was making tons of money back then. And then guess what?
Yeah.
We had cars, and that guy is not around anymore. His
That guy's
business.
not around. Yeah. How about
So
cobblers? How many cobblers are out there still?
exactly. So it's evolution. We should be advancing. We should not be afraid of the future. And I know that there's lots of books, podcasts, people talking about, the dangers of AI and what could happen in the future. And all that is absolutely true. How many movies have we seen, Tom, about, hey, that
For
didn't turn
like for like at least 50 years. How many movies have been coming out, right?
right? So all the movies we saw about computers taking over or AI taking over or aliens coming, right?
Yeah.
Remember time when we grew up, aliens were going to come and they were going to destroy the planet, like all those
Mhm.
movies, right? They're going to come and
Yep.
take our resources and kill us all. Well, now I think if aliens come, it's more like a rescue mission than it is an invasion.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, come save us from ourselves.
You,
We can't do this
you
anymore.
guys really screwed this thing up, man. We're here to help.
Yeah. But AI is kind of the same thing. And yes, every technology has potential to be dangerous.
Mhm.
But I think, it's getting harder, I think, to have trust in the people in charge that they're going to do good and righteous things to advance us. I guess, I'm sure that is difficult to trust people like that. But
Right.
we have to evolve. If we don't evolve, we die. And
Yeah.
a very basic concept. Without evolution, we die.
We survive and we are adaptable, you know. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to be like the movies and books predicted necessarily, but maybe some elements of those things. Sure. But
Right.
we'll see what happens. But today, right now, as the holidays approach, I have a lot of people who are in their fields. Holidays can trigger some pretty intense emotions, and one of those that has been a reoccurring theme, and you know what, not just for the holidays, but it tends to be a theme
Right.
every week in some way, form, or fashion throughout the year, and that's anger.
Anger. Do, 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 do.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know what we say about anger is a leading emotion. And what does that mean? Anger, that means that we are all comfortable with anger, right? Everyone's pretty good with anger. Not everyone, but most people are pretty good with anger. It leads when you are emotionally triggered. I hate that word triggered, but when you're emotionally triggered, you automatically revert to anger, right? Suspense, anger, surprise, those kinds of things. And anger being a leading emotion means that's what we start with, and that's what we're
Yeah.
comfortable showing the world is anger. But what's behind the anger, I would say 90% of the time, is really not anger. It's more shame, doubt, guilt, fear. surprise.
Yeah. Well, of course, I mean, we use the image of the iceberg and how on the surface there's this much, but beneath the surface there's like, 75% more of what you
Hmm.
actually see bubbling below. But anger's powerful. We can utilize that. And I think
Hmm.
that's why we go to that first, especially for men, right? We can utilize that, right? That robust, physical presence, energetic of like, I need to rectify this. You have harmed me, disrespected me. You are challenging me, right? And that testosterone kicks in, and like anger is the default. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there, men and women. I mean, a lot of men that we deal with, of course, um, who that anger gets the better of them and they end up saying, doing things in life to people that they say they care about and they harm them in some fashion, maybe physically, emotionally, mentally. And they have to pay the consequences of that. And that can be a hard pill to swallow. And they have a very difficult time getting and maintaining control over those really strong emotions. So, how do we
And
control it?
you know, another side, the thing to look at with anger is people use it as a tool, right? Anger is a very effective tool.
Yeah.
When somebody comes at you with a question, an accusation, or a disappointment, or something like that, when you lead with anger, anger shuts people down,
Right.
right? So
Back off. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you don't want to continue the conversation, when you don't want to think about the question that is posed,
Yeah.
when you feel challenged, threatened, or asked about something, hey, lead with anger, and it shuts people down.
Yeah.
So I think about that when people come at me angry. I'm like, what is behind that? What is the emotion behind that? And a lot of time, or what's really going on? Number one, and number two, are they just trying to shut me down because I'm not that easily shut down?
Mhm.
you know,
Right. Because maybe we're trying to get them to take some accountability for
right?
their
Mhm.
actions and their, like their thoughts and get better control. And they don't want to do that. That's going to take some work. And if it works well for you, if it's not broke, why try to fix it? Or at least they think that it's not right.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if the anger is working, it's shutting people down, it's pushing people away, it's enabling them to be in their own headspace where they don't have to be accountable or deal with things, or they want to make things happen. And by being angry, people end up doing what you want them to do. Then
Mhm.
why change that? Right?
Mhm.
Aside from the negative consequences that befall them, they
Right.
wind up in a hotel room drinking alone by themselves. Okay, maybe not in all situations, but then they're just pissed off, and then it's the victim mentality. Look at what
Mhm.
everybody has done to me, and you forced me to be this way. And
I
there's a
love the
different way.
question to people. You seem angry. Are you angry? What are you angry about? Because then they have to identify exactly what the anger is about.
Yeah. Mhm. I'm
Oh,
not angry.
yeah. Oh, okay. You just seem angry.
Why are you yelling? I'm not yelling. You're like, oh, okay. Mhm.
Well, people don't want to be called out on, what is really driving the interaction.
Sure. I love the question. Are you doing okay?
Hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes it's sarcastic, but yeah, it puts the spotlight on them. And so there's a judgment, which of course, as therapists, we try not to engage in too much. We are human, so of course we're, like coming up with like spot judgments or assessments, more on the lines of assessments, but like, are you okay? Are you doing all right? Um, that can be that can be triggering for somebody. I hate that word too. We got to find a better word for trigger.
Well, I think of trigger, and I try to explain, when you feel triggered, whatever that word means, it's like the check engine light on your car. It means you need to pay attention to something. Something's going on. We don't really
Yeah.
know exactly what it is,
Um,
but your body, your brain is giving you a signal that something. is going on. So pay attention. What's happening? What am I feeling? Where did the feeling come from? And what am I going to do with that feeling?
Absolutely. Well, I think there's some negative connotations with the word trigger now, or that
Right.
concept of trigger, because people are utilizing it to cause or elicit some sort of compensation um, from somebody else. You know, like
Hmm.
I'm triggered, which means therefore you have to adapt to my state, and
Exactly. Nope.
that's not true. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're using that as a you know you're triggering me. Well,
Yeah.
okay, that's a you sounds like a you thing. You might want to work on that.
Right. Yeah. I think that's why we're coming to loathe that word trigger.
Yeah, because it's a blame. It's like an excuse. It's like it's not my fault. I was triggered. Well,
Yeah.
no, it's still your. This is all about your agency. It's still you and your emotions and your responses. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. How are you going to get by in a world that maybe does not owe you anything, or that doesn't, seemingly
what?
doesn't care? What, 8.5
Tom, the
billion
world doesn't
people?
owe me anything since when?
Well, starting today, at least.
Damn
I mean, eight
it.
and a half billion people in the world. I don't know. That's rough numbers, but how many people don't care about you? A
Yeah.
lot. You don't even know you. So, I mean,
Hmm. Yeah. Too funny.
so how do we get control over the anger? What are some things that we can do? What are some therapeutic techniques, thoughts,
Mhm.
concepts that maybe would help our dear listeners if they can relate to maybe anger being front and center in their lives? How can they get a grasp on that?
Um, yeah, I mean, anger is, when you're feeling anger, the next question needs to be what am I angry about? And am I really angry? What is this? What emotions am I really experiencing now? Is this anger and what's it about and where does it come from? And there's a person in my life that is kind of um I guess quick to anger, not quick to anger, but like expresses like eh, I'm not saying this well, but like when they're driving, oh my gosh, these guys are idiots, and this,
Right,
blah
right.
blah 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 blah. It appears to
Yeah.
be anger, it's not anger, um, but their blood pressure is like steady Eddie. I mean, they are able to release that, the
Yeah.
frustration when they say, if someone cuts them off in traffic, and oh man, that guy's an idiot, so it's gone for them. So it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a pressure release and a pressure valve, uh,
Hmm.
which I think is interesting.
Well, I want to say this. When somebody is in a state where they become angry and they want to try to pause and reflect on, well, what is it that I'm angry about? Sometimes that's really hard for people to do, to take that time. If they could do that, then they may not be in the certain
Right.
situations that they find themselves in. What I wanted to say is that when somebody, such as in traffic, somebody cut you off, it's not just the guy that cut them off in traffic. It's all the shit that they have not dealt with in their lives, maybe even from childhood, where they felt belittled, berated, maybe abused, maybe neglected, where they felt like they weren't important enough, like they weren't good enough, like they didn't matter all the times. And that stuff comes out, and they want to show the world around them, I'm important, I matter, I need you to fucking listen to me. And so all that comes out, and it's not just that one isolated split
Right.
second thing. It's all the things that came before. And I mean, this leads to like vile things, murder, suicide, school shootings, the host of it wasn't just like an isolated thing. It's all the
Right.
things that preceded that leading
Mhm.
up to it. And so I think it's so helpful for you if you can relate to the fact that maybe anger is a very leading thing in your life and it has been problematic, to talk about these things that have occurred over the course of your life with the trained professional, with the therapist, and maybe even do some EMDR to see if you can work through some of those negative core beliefs that have been built up from the past so that you can find a better way, an easier, softer, kinder way of approaching the world around you. And you might just find that not only do you get the things that you need, but you get more than that. You have really healthy relationships and you become even more successful because if you're just going around, swinging your hoo-ha around, you might get what you want right then in that moment, but ultimately, you're not having the life that you really want deep down inside because you want to have love and attention and support and compassion and acceptance. And you're not going to get any of those things if you're just walking around being angry all the time because then you become the asshole and people are going to treat you accordingly.
Right?
What's
Yeah.
that saying? If you go out and one person's an asshole, that person's probably an asshole. But if everybody's an asshole to you, then
Right?
hmm,
Let's take a look at that.
yeah. Um,
But you're right, Tom. I mean, that's the whole, a lot of what we do is we help point out patterns in people's lives, right? Where people don't always recognize that in themselves. And we talk about the brain being a really incredibly marvelous, wonderful, interesting thing, but it's also a pretty stupid muscle, right?
yeah,
It's really both things at once. And your brain can be really dumb, and it wants to be organized. There's billions of pieces of information it needs to sort through on a daily basis. And so it tries to organize things. So it puts things in the same file that maybe don't belong together.
yeah.
So now one thing is associated with another thing, which is associated with another thing, and really they may not have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
So what we do is to try to help pull that apart sometimes. Why are you angry in traffic? Because, you know, you were bullied in school. How does that relate?
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, precisely. Now, I don't want you to get rid of anger. I just want you to deal with it constructively and utilize it when you absolutely need to, because there are times in our lives where that escalated energy where we go into that fight or flight, hey, fight, right? Response that
Hmm.
we need to. Maybe it's a dangerous situation, life and death type of thing, or maybe some harm is going to come where we have to respond and react. There are times when we need to assert, that I'm important, I'm here, and I need this to happen right now, especially maybe not life or death, but if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or you feel like you're being scammed somehow,
Hmm.
where you need to be able to advocate for yourself. And that piece requires that kind of energy. And so I don't want to totally annihilate that. I just want to harness it and direct it appropriately.
Right. Absolutely. So anger, leading emotion, it can be useful. We use it as a tool sometimes, right? And think about it. Think about how the last time you got angry, think about why, and maybe how you used it as a tool or a weapon.
Yep. Anytime you get a little irritated, miffed, pissed off, angry, think about this. Let's make a tank, right? Not a shoots tank, like a tank that holds stuff, like fuel or
Mm,
something. So we're putting that into the anger tank, right? And you don't have to unleash that right away, but I would like for you to have an outlet for it. Uh,
mm,
could be a physical outlet, or it could be getting into action and advocating for something that you really believe in. Maybe
mhm.
that could be a great way to express that and use up. It's just energy, it's just fuel. So harness that, use it for good or use it for something productive.
Yeah, people, this is a common, well, where did that anger come from? Well, it's just not right. It's not fair. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. It
Right.
wasn't fair.
Yeah.
Well, when did you sign the contract that said that life was fair? Because I never saw that contract. Life's not
Yeah.
fair, right? And justice and the concepts of justice, fairness, those kinds of things, people
Yeah.
get very upset about. And you're right. I mean, in a perfect world, things would be just and fair, but they aren't. So.
Yep. Here are three. three tips that I share with people who have challenges with anger, and I think that they can be really helpful. One, we've got to change your state quickly and effectively, whether that's like jumping in a tub full of ice, right? Ice bath, or cold water on your face, chewing on an ice cube, ice on the back of your neck or something, because anger is that like that inflammation. So we want to try to cool that down. Or like just holding your hand on your chest and like triggering that vasovagal response, stimulating the vagus nerve to help with the, parasympathetic nervous system. Um, by just taking in some deep breaths and make the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. Really, seriously, try that. That gives a little bit of space for you to be able to choose your response instead of just reacting. So that's one, change your physical state right then in the moment. Number two is maybe you write down in letter form, maybe handwritten or typed out, all the horrendous shit that you want to say or do to that person, and then you get that all out. Then you have a way to kind of look at pieces and parts and change it and then decide on how you're going to proceed with that situation. Of course, if somebody's trying to rob you at gunpoint, you're not going to go write a fucking letter. So here's what you need to unleash that.
Right.
Unleash all hell. What I like to do is I put my phone up, whether it's in the truck where nobody else is around, and I hit record and I just let that person have it. I scream and yell and carry on and use all kinds of profanity. And then when that's done, I turn the camera off and then I watch it back and I giggle and laugh and then I delete the video and then I feel great after.
That's awesome.
And the third thing is to have some sort of outlet, especially a physical outlet. I mean, if you're exhausted, you can't. I mean, if you go for a 5 mile walk or run, I mean, how angry are you going to be after that? You're going to be like,
Right.
I just want to get a sandwich and take a nap, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
All
Do
right.
something, do something physical. If you need to do push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, or some kettlebell swings, or you need to go to the gym, go do that. Jumping jacks or something. Do something physical to express that to get rid of that stuff. So anyway, these things can be
And it's
triggered.
just a way to get rid of that stored energy, right? When
Yep.
your adrenaline's up, you get angry, your parasympathetic nervous system is lit up like a Christmas tree. So you got to bring that down. You got to turn the
Yeah.
lights down. So
Yep.
safety, temperature, exercise,
Yeah.
calmness, breathing,
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
And I have people that maybe text or call me who are in an angered state at somebody, spouse, family member, whatever. When you're in that state, this isn't the time to process those
Mm-hmm.
emotions. This
Mm-hmm.
we've got to find a quick way to resolve whatever the thing is, whatever the problem is, or to remove yourself from the problem. Then maybe a day after or a week after, we can finally process, well, what happened in that. But when you're in that state, I mean, you're not going to be able to do much about it. And that's why people find it so difficult. If you engage in these techniques habitually, even when you're not angry, just to make them part of your routine, then you can call upon them. I mean, we're going to perform how we practice. So if we say, hey, when you're angry, do some deep breathing for 10 seconds, people are like, that's not going to fucking work. And you know why it's not going to work for you? Because you're not engaging in deep breathing 30 times per day just without being angry. If you do that, that doesn't have to be 30 times, but I mean, like, if you do that on a routine basis where you stop and just take a couple of deep breaths for 10 seconds, then that becomes like a tool that you can actually use. You're not going to think when you're angry, oh, Tom said a month ago I should do some deep breathing when I'm angry. It's not going to be on the forefront of your mind.
We both have. I know that we've used this tool. Is people that are really struggle with their emotional responses or trauma responses, PTSD, stress reactions to trauma, those kinds of things. you're right. We got to practice these things outside of difficult times. So, you set your alarm for 2 minutes to the top of the hour, like 9:58, 10:58, 11:58. And when your alarm goes off, you stop what you're doing and you do 2 minutes of breathing.
Yeah,
Just some regulated breathing, 2 minutes every hour. And it is amazing the positive outcomes that come from just something as simple as that.
right. Now that's a resource for you. That's a tool that
Mhm.
you can employ and utilize. And what a beautiful thing.
And everyone can do 2 minutes, the top of the hour. And hey, if you miss a couple, that's okay. But you get to hit the majority of them. And then what
Yeah.
happens with that when we talk about your brain is your brain gets used to that, right? Your brain can handle the stress that comes at you because it knows in a short amount of time, I'm going to get a break and I'm going to get a chance to get some deep breaths and take a break and be present and those
Yeah,
kinds of things.
absolutely. Yeah, at first it's like uncomfortable. It feels weird. Why am I doing this? But by building that habit, like
Hmm.
it's, I mean, priceless.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Hey, because we work out in the morning, right? We know automatically because of consistency and discipline, I'm gonna lift some heavy shit in the morning. And
Hmm.
I don't need to worry about the anger that's building up right now. I don't have to unleash it because I know tomorrow morning I'm gonna put that into whatever, the squats, the deadlifts, the bench press, like this. That consistent routine is so important. And there are secondary, tertiary, I mean, so many other benefits to it just besides the main objective.
Your brain craves order and organization, and part of that is scheduling. We talk a lot about scheduling.
Yeah,
Your brain needs to know what to anticipate. Your brain doesn't want to be that horse that's wandering around the pasture, aimlessly. It wants to be led around. So
absolutely. Thank you for today.
thanks. Damn it, Tom. I mean, dang, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go check myself.
I'm gonna go check myself. All right. I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of the week. I hope that this helped. If there's anything you'd like to comment about or ask questions, please send those into questions at therapyonzip.com. And we hope that you guys are enjoying. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll definitely see you next week.
Absolutely, Tom. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.